Let's be honest with each other for a second. You've spent your whole life being told that the smartest people win. You've been told that if you just had a higher IQ, a better degree, or a more analytical brain, the doors to wealth and power would swing open for you. And yet, you look around and see brilliant people who are broke, miserable, and working for bosses who have half their intelligence but 10 times their results. You are here because you have sensed a fundamental glitch in the matrix of success. You have seen the straight-A student struggling to pay rent while the C student builds an empire. What you are about to find out is that intelligence, while valuable, is the most overrated asset in the pursuit of greatness. I am calling you out because you have been using your lack of knowledge or your average background as a shield to protect you from the discomfort of trying. You have been waiting to be smart enough to start. Today, I am going to show you why a white-hot, burning desire is 1,000 times more potent than a high IQ. I am going to prove to you that the world isn't run by the most intelligent, but by the most obsessed. If you feel like you've been lagging behind, it's not because you lack brain power, it's because you haven't yet tapped into the primal force that makes intelligence irrelevant. The great deception of our modern era is the intellectual trap. We have built a society that worships the expert. We are taught from birth that the accumulation of facts is the path to freedom. But if information were the key to wealth, every librarian would be a billionaire and every university professor would be a mogul. The problem with pure intelligence is that it is often the greatest enemy of action. Intelligence is analytical by nature. Its job is to look at a situation, identify the risks, calculate the odds, and project the potential for failure. When a highly intelligent person looks at a new business opportunity, they see 17 reasons why it might go wrong. They see the market saturation, the economic headwinds, and the technical hurdles. They analyze themselves into a state of paralysis. We call this analysis paralysis, but in reality, it is a form of intellectual cowardice. The smart person waits for all the lights to be green before they leave the house. But the lights are never all green at the same time. Furthermore, intelligence without desire creates a hired gun mentality. An intelligent person without a burning purpose is simply a high-priced tool for someone else to use. They become the accountants, the lawyers, and the middle managers who help build the dreams of people who are less smart but far more hungry. Think about your own life. How many times have you had a brilliant idea only to talk yourself out of it because you were smart enough to see the obstacles? You used your logic to justify staying in your comfort zone. You used your intellect to build a very convincing case for why you should stay mediocre. This is the curse of the competent. When you are smart, you can always find a way to survive. You can always get a good job. You can always make just enough money to be comfortable. And comfort is the silent killer of greatness. The intelligent person rarely reaches the point of absolute necessity because they can always find a clever way to get by. Desire, however, thrives in the absence of comfort. Desire doesn't care about the odds. While the intelligent person is busy calculating why the mountain shouldn't be climbed, the person with desire is already halfway up the slope. They aren't too smart to realize it's impossible. They are too hungry to care. To move forward, you must realize that your brain is a wonderful servant but a terrible master. If you want to change your life, you have to stop asking your intellect for permission and start letting your desire lead the way. To master your destiny, you must understand the supremacy of desire. We must look at the law of magnetic attraction as it relates to the human will. Napoleon Hill famously said that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But the bridge between conception and achievement isn't logic. It is the intensity of the vibratory rate of your desire. The hidden principle is this: intelligence is a tool of direction, but desire is the force of creation. Think of a magnifying glass. If you hold a magnifying glass over a pile of dry leaves on a cloudy day, nothing happens. No matter how perfect the glass is, no matter how intelligent the design of the lens, the leaves remain cold. But the moment the sun breaks through and you focus that light into a single tiny point, the leaves catch fire. Desire is the focus of the sun's rays. Most people have wishes or preferences. They wish they were rich. They would prefer to have a better house. But a wish has no heat. A preference has no magnetic pull. A burning desire is something entirely different. It is a psychological state where the goal becomes as necessary to you as the air you breathe. When you reach this state, your mind undergoes a biological shift. When the mind is obsessed with a single definite purpose, it begins to act like a magnet. This isn't mysticism, it is practical psychology. When you have a burning desire, your reticular activating system, the filter in your brain, shifts its parameters. Suddenly, you start seeing opportunities that were always there but were previously invisible to your intelligent but unfocused mind. You find the book you need, you meet the person you need, you notice the gap in the market. Intelligence is a static quality. You are born with a certain range of it, but desire is dynamic. It can be cultivated, stoked, and grown until it consumes every obstacle in its path. You are here because you have been trying to think your way into success. You have been trying to solve the puzzle of your life with logic. But logic only works with what is already known. Desire is what allows you to reach into the unknown and pull out something that didn't exist before. Consider the flywheel of the human will. A highly intelligent person might start a project with a logical plan. But the moment they hit a wall, the moment the data says this isn't working, their intelligence tells them to pivot or quit. Their logic tells them to cut their losses. But the person with a burning desire doesn't listen to the data. They have a fixity of purpose. They push against the wall until the wall breaks. They keep the flywheel spinning through the dark night of the soul when there is no logical reason to believe it will ever gain momentum. This is the hidden principle that the elites don't want you to understand. They would rather hire 1,000 geniuses than compete against one person who simply refuses to stop. Intelligence can be bought for a salary. Desire is priceless. It is the only thing in the world that can't be taught, yet it is the only thing that makes everything else possible. If you feel you aren't smart enough, you should be celebrating. It means you have less logic to get in the way of your obsession. It means you are more likely to take the stupid risks that actually lead to the massive rewards. Your desire is the architect of your reality. Your intelligence is just the carpenter. Stop letting the carpenter tell the architect what can be built. Let's look at how this manifests in the world. Think of Henry Ford. Ford was not a highly educated man. In fact, he was famously sued by a newspaper that called him an ignorant pacifist. During the trial, he was asked various historical and trivia questions to prove his intelligence. He grew frustrated and pointed out that he had a row of buttons on his desk, and by pushing one, he could summon a man who could answer any question he wanted. Ford understood the fundamental truth. He didn't need to be the smartest person in the room. He needed to be the person with the most unwavering desire to build a motor car for the multitudes. When Ford decided to build the V8 engine, his intelligent engineers told him it was impossible to cast an 8-cylinder engine block in one piece. They used their logic. They used their physics degrees. They used their years of experience to prove to him that it couldn't be done. Ford didn't argue with their intelligence. He simply said, "Produce it anyway." 6 months went by. Nothing. Another 6 months. Still nothing. The engineers explained again, with even more intelligence, why it was a physical impossibility. Ford told them to keep working. He didn't have the intelligence to know it was impossible, but he had the desire to see it exist. And eventually, they found the way. The V8 became the foundation of his empire. Desire forced the intelligent tools to find a solution that logic said wasn't there. Now, compare this to the academic failure versus the corporate success. Imagine a young man named James. James is brilliant. He scores in the 99th percentile on every test. He goes to an Ivy League school. He knows everything about how to run a business. But James has no hunger. He grew up comfortable. He wants a nice life. He enters the corporate world and becomes a high-level consultant. He makes $300,000 a year. He is successful by society's standards. But then there is Alex. Alex barely graduated high school. He's not traditionally smart. He can't explain the nuances of macroeconomic theory. But Alex is starving. He has a burning desire to never live in poverty again. He starts a small plumbing business. While James is at home analyzing the risks of the housing market, Alex is working 16-hour days. He is learning through the school of hard knocks. He fails, he gets cheated, he makes stupid mistakes. But his desire is so intense that he cannot be stopped. 10 years later, Alex owns a regional plumbing empire. He has 100 trucks and a net worth of $20 million. Who is more intelligent? Society would say James, but the results say Alex. Alex used his desire to acquire the intelligence he needed. When he needed an accountant, he hired a James. When he needed a lawyer, he hired a James. This is the real-world hierarchy. Desire sits at the top. Intelligence is a commodity that is sold to the highest bidder. Think about the distance to the goal. Let's say success is 100 miles away. Intelligence is like a Ferrari. It is fast, sleek, and capable of high speeds. Desire is the fuel. If the Ferrari has only 1 gallon of gas, it will travel 5 miles and stop. It will be a beautiful, expensive, intelligent machine sitting on the side of the road going nowhere. But if you have a beat-up, old tractor, slow, clunky, and unintelligent, but it has a 500-gallon tank of fuel, it will eventually cover the 100 miles. It won't be pretty. It will be loud and messy. But it will arrive. Most people are Ferraris with no fuel. They are sitting on the sidelines of life, analyzing the road, waiting for someone to come fill their tank. You are here because you've been told you need to be a Ferrari. You've been told you need more engine, more intelligence. But I am telling you that you need more fuel. You need more desire. If you have a burning desire for a definite purpose, you will eventually outrun the geniuses. You will outlast the experts. Because when the smart people get tired and calculate that the journey isn't logical anymore, you will still be moving. You will be the tractor that reached the finish line while the Ferraris were being towed away. So, how do you actually cultivate this burning desire? How do you make sure your hunger outpaces your logic? It is a deliberate process of mental chemistry. First, you must define your definite chief aim. Desire cannot exist in a vacuum. You cannot just want to be rich. That is a weak, diffuse wish. You must have a specific, concrete goal that you can visualize in high definition. Write it down. Put a date on it. If you don't know exactly what you want, your mind will default to the logical path of least resistance. Second, you must burn the boats. Intelligence always looks for an exit strategy. Desire looks for a victory strategy. If you want to achieve something massive, you must remove the possibility of retreat. When the great generals of history landed on a foreign shore, they burned their own ships. They gave their men a simple choice: win or perish. Your intelligence will try to give you a plan B. You must kill plan B. Desire only reaches its maximum heat when there is no safety net. Third, feed the obsession. Desire is a fire. If you don't add wood, it goes out. You must spend time every single day, morning and night, immersing yourself in your goal. Read about people who have done it. Visualize the result as if it has already happened. Talk about it as if it is a fact. This isn't positive thinking. It is the deliberate programming of your subconscious mind to prioritize your goal above your comfort. Fourth, use the power of the mastermind. Surround yourself with people whose desire is as hot as yours. Intelligence is contagious, but obsession is even more so. If you hang out with logical people who value stability and safety, they will slowly dampen your fire. They will use their intelligence to tell you why you're being unrealistic. Seek out the unreasonable ones. Fifth, take irrational action. Don't wait until you have the perfect plan. Your intelligence will never tell you the plan is perfect. Take a step that makes your logic uncomfortable. Make the call. Invest the money. Start the project. Action creates its own intelligence. You will learn more in 1 hour of doing than in 1 year of thinking. Finally, transmute your frustration. When you hit a wall, don't analyze the wall. Get angry at the wall. Use the emotional energy of your setbacks to fuel your desire even more. A smart person sees a setback as a sign to reconsider. An obsessed person sees a setback as a personal challenge to their will. The world is full of brilliant failures. The graveyards are packed with people who had high IQs, grand degrees, and limitless potential, yet they never did anything with it because they lacked the fire to move. Intelligence is a gift, but desire is a choice. It is the choice to be unreasonable. It is the choice to be obsessed. It is the choice to look at the facts and decide that they don't apply to you. As you finish this, I want you to look at your goals. Are they logical? Are they safe? Or do they make your heart race? If your goals don't scare your intelligent side, they aren't big enough. Remember, your intelligence can build the cage, but your desire is what breaks the bars. Wealth does not go to the one who can explain it best. It goes to the one who demands it most. You are here because you are tired of being a spectator in the lives of people who aren't even as smart as you. You are tired of being the hired gun for someone else's obsession. The fire is already inside you. You felt it the moment we began. Now, your only job is to stop letting your intellect pour water on it. Turn up the heat, burn the boats. and watch how quickly the smart world gets out of your way. Success isn't a test of your brain, it's a test of your heart, and you've got more than enough heart to win.